นามบินอุตภเปาตั้งอยู่ในเขตอำเภอบ้านฉางจังหวัดระยองและอำเภอสัตหีบจังหวัดชลบุรีอยู่ภายใต้การดูแลของกองทัพเรือเริ่มก่อสร้างในปีพ.ศ. 2505และต่อมาสหรัฐอเมริกาเข้ามาขอรัฐบาลไทยปรับปรุงให้สนามบินอุตภเปาเป็นหน่วยลำเลียงพลเพื่อไปรบกับลัทธิคอมมิวนิสต์ในภูมิภาคนี้ตั้งแต่ปีพ.ศ. 2508 เป็นต้นมาสหรัฐได้สร้างสิ่งอำนวยความสะดวกไว้มากมายและหมายมั่นให้อุตภเปาเป็นหนึ่งในสนามบินใหญ่และทันสมัยที่สุดในเอเชียตะวันออกเฉียงใต้ทหารอเมริกันได้ถอนกำลังออกจากประเทศไทยในปี 2519 รัฐบาลไทยจึงมีมติให้สนามบินอุตภเปาเป็นสนามบินพาณิชย์ระหว่างประเทศเป็นสนามบินสำรองค่ะ
You're also asking Thailand for use of Utapao base for military purposes.
No, not yet. We might get to that purpose. We already, by the way, have.
Not yet, meaning that it is in the pipeline. It is being discussed.
Not yet, meaning it is being discussed, but neither side has taken a decision. So let me explain Utapao. Utapao has been a logistics, has helped us flow forces throughout the world for some time. You know, we have a long history at Utapao.
Yeah, I was covering Vietnam War, and I was at Utapao very often.
Of course, and
B-52s,
I know,
taking off, landing.
Right. Well, we're not doing that. No. What we are doing is, as we do exercises like Cobra Gold, for example, Utapao becomes a very important logistics hub for that exercise. As a result of Cobra Gold, General Tanasak and I this year have discussed the possibility that at some point in the future, if we can agree on how to do it and when to do it, that Utapao might become a, let's call it a humanitarian assistance disaster relief center of excellence. It's perfectly placed to do that. If we decide that collaboratively, if we set a timeline and milestones, we'll move toward that. But we haven't made that decision yet. We're just exploring the possibility.
Could it also lead eventually to becoming a naval base? Like Clark in the Philippines, like Cam Ranh Bay in Vietnam?
Yeah.
I see.
No, I understand.
When I look at the map, I see Clark in the Philippines. I see Utapao. And I see Cam Ranh Bay. Perfect. Triangular strategy for the rebalancing of the United States Navy.
You know,
don't you think so?
I might have to bring you to the Pentagon, actually. Do I think so? Not the use of the word base, because one of the things I assure you is I'm not carrying around with me a bag of American flags and planting them everywhere I go. I mean, that's not what this is about. This is about us coming to Thailand and saying, look, you know, we've had 179 years of relationship. What's next? Because we don't want the relationship to be stagnant. And the what next for now appears to be humanitarian assistance, disaster relief. Could it at some point be a place where one of our littoral combat ships, you know, we've now decided to manage and rotate 4 littoral combat ships, our most technologically advanced multi-role ship into Singapore. They're not going to be based in Singapore. They're going to be managed out of Singapore. They'll make port calls throughout the region. And could one of those places be Utapao? Sure it could. Could one of those places be Bangkok, actually? Sure. That's a decision, though, that we won't make autonomously. We'll provide options and opportunities, and we'll see what our partners wish to do.
This will be regular visits, regular patrol sort of visits. Right?
Well, regular engagement and intended to both provide our presence, but also to help build the capability and capacity of our partners.
But also, there was also a story last week that NASA is looking at the possibility of Utapao being used for its scientific purposes. How does that and the Navy's activities are going to get together or combined together?
Yeah, completely unrelated.
Completely.
NASA is a separate agency of government, has nothing to do at all with the Department of Defense. Now, that said, because I'd read the same story and knew I was traveling, I did my homework. And of course, I asked the question, why is NASA interested in Utapao as a potential location?
Right.
And it's because they have some particular meteorological capabilities. They think that from there they could do a better job of helping predict some of the incidents that might result in in monsoons of particular violence and duration that might help in the future avoid some of the things like the floods last year. I'm not in NASA, but I understand why they want to be there. But what I can tell you is completely separate.
They didn't even check with you because they knew, of course, that this is at least a former naval base.
You know that we're in a democracy. Have you ever known a democracy to always check with each other to the extent that
They should.
True.
They should, shouldn't they? That,
perhaps.
hey, this is a base, a Navy base.
Yeah.
Used to be used in Vietnam War time by Pentagon.
Yeah.
So I should check with the Pentagon, and if it happens that they know something about it, then perhaps you don't waste time or money to do more homework on it.
Yeah, could be, but I can tell you they didn't check, but I can also tell you that these two activities are entirely separate.
Well, there's suspicion that maybe the Pentagon has asked NASA to sound out first before it becomes a military issue.
No.
In fact, you don't need NASA to be your front man. Right?
No, we have a wonderful relationship with the Royal Thai Armed Forces. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even during the height of the Iraq War, I think, you also asked permission to use Utapao for transit for oil filling
logistics,
operations.
sure.
Yeah. And during floods, disasters, tsunami, you also use Utapao.
That's right.
So it will become a sort of multi-purpose springboard for you. It could become a military operation center. It could be humanitarian operation center, right?
Well, a 10,000-foot slab of asphalt or concrete that's called a runway could be used for almost anything. But the intent would be that we would have potentially some kind of small standing organization that studied the issue of humanitarian assistance and disaster relief, did collaborative planning, provided the command and control for exercises, and then if an issue comes up, we have people who are skilled in that effort to rely upon. So, but that's the intention right now.
It would not be like the Vietnam War time when Utapao and other bases in Thailand became American territory, so to say, because we could not, the local people or even the government could not have access to the bases of American facilities. This will be different, meaning that every time you use it, you will seek prior permission and be quite transparent about the use, right?
Even today, anything we do with Thailand is executed on a Thai base with us as the visitors. And that would certainly remain true in Utapao if we ever came to a decision to co-locate there. It would be a Thai base with us as tenants with the collaborative effort of preparing ourselves for humanitarian assistance and disaster relief.
Apart from Utapao, is there any other point in Thailand where you're interested in seeking cooperation for use?
Well, there's more specificity about Utapao, but what the Chad and I talked about is looking for other opportunities, and we have not yet. By the way, we had the same conversation in the Philippines 2 days ago. So this is about understanding where there are ranges or training areas where we could put small groups of in this case, Royal Thai Armed Forces and American forces to train with each other for a brief period of time and then move. That's what I'm looking for. I want to keep my force inspired to serve through exciting training in situations with which they are unfamiliar, because that's how you build real leaders. And I think that it's the same aspiration that your service chiefs and your chief of defense have for your force.